Hi there, Melodie here, and today we're going to talk about how showing how you show up really matters. And this is in the context of working in a remote company on a Zoom call like what we are now, but it really does apply to when you're in person as well. And it changes in some context because I think because we are on a computer, it almost makes it not it seem like as important as it would if you're potentially in person, but the same rules do apply. As somebody that has hired many, many people and works with many, many people online as well as attends conferences, I can see the difference in how team members show up, how I show up, and then how colleagues show up and the results that they get within their lives. So in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the things that I would notice, how you'd be able to recognize in yourself of how you're showing up, and then some strategies about, okay, how can I show up bigger or better in order to be able to put forth my best foot? Because ultimately what this does is whatever you want to achieve in your life, whether it be financial or personal happiness or just connecting with people or just getting things done, this really is foundational to be able to achieve all of those different things. And I found that to be true within myself. And then I've also found that to be true with people that we work for and people that we hire as well. So the first thing to think about is, how do you notice it both within yourself, and then maybe you'll see it in other people as well. I think that the first thing to look at is just like your posture and how you're holding yourself and your tone of voice of like how you're speaking. Are you speaking softly and confidently like this, or it's not softly and not confidently, or are you projecting your voice to a state of power? And I haven't always been all that confident. I used to speak very, very quietly. It takes practice to get used to it. It's going to feel uncomfortable at first, but really being mindful of that to be able to speak and project your voice. Are you making eye contact? Are you actually engaging? So it's like if I'm looking over here and like maybe I'm on a call or something and I am just participating. Maybe I'm not leading the call. If I'm like looking around, I just look kind of bored. And, it's just something that I look for in team members of like, I don't really want bored people on my team. I want people that are actively engaged. Just like, what do you need to do in order to be able to engage? And like, I have a camera right here where I've developed the ability to like when I'm not actively doing something, then I will look directly at that camera and nod and smile. It's not that different than when you're in person with somebody of like, when somebody's talking, you look them in the eyes and you nod and you smile. So it also does take away some of the ability, some of the mechanism that we have to like watch ourselves on an online video as well. My camera, like I can't see, like when I'm looking at this, I can't see myself, I can't see other participants. So then I'm really focused on the audio of like what people are actively saying. And I think this helps for your focus and your intention of, okay, what are these people saying? And just being more aware and more in depth with that of like really like showing up with feeling like you're paying attention. Really, what your goal is when you attend a call, both in person or online, is to engage with people and to show up with some level of energy and enthusiasm because nobody wants to feel like you're bored. Like on a date, like nobody's going back for a second date with somebody that just looked bored the whole time. So it's like, are you kind of like just sitting there? Ask questions, try to get engaged, be involved in what it is that you're doing, show up with energy. I love there's an option just to like, outstretch your hands before a call and like, I'm amazing, I'm great. Like, say some of those affirmations. It's a big speaker thing of like, before you jump on and start speaking, outstretch your hands, hips, like legs hip width distance apart, and just like, open yourself up and don't be afraid to engage. Of People want to hear what you have to say. And if they don't, they're jerks and you shouldn't pay attention to them. But any good, reasonable human is going to want to hear your questions and your thoughts. And yeah, sometimes you're going to get it wrong. And sometimes you might feel kind of dumb. But when you're learning something, when you're learning a new skill, you're going to have to fall down. But what you don't want to do is just not to try in the first place, because not trying is just going to make it so that you're kind of like looked over. And we don't want that. We want you to be engaged. We want you to shine of whatever that power is in you. And sometimes there's just not a lot of places for you to be able to do that. But you need to be taking that self-leadership mindset with this of, okay, how do I show up? How am I perceived by other people? And how can I show up as the fullest expression of myself? Of that, I don't believe that anybody is this like, I'm so good. I don't know what I'm doing here and I'm just here for a job and like why like oh poor me. It's like an Eeyore type thing, right? And we feel better as humans if we're able to really kind of like express ourselves in that larger way. And like as a business owner, as somebody that hires a lot of people, that's what I'm looking for in my team members. Like, I don't want to work with bored people. I don't want to work with people who are just showing up and checking boxes. I want people that are engaged and are like, okay, hey, how can we get this done? What can we do here? Not a, so cool. You're gonna tell me what to do? All right. It's like who think about that group project kind of mentality of like nobody wants to be in the group project where they have to carry the whole group project, and conversations are a little bit like that too. Now a couple other just notes of just like when you're showing up. Now my shirt's actually a little bit wrinkled frankly, so I should probably press this, but you're going to overlook that. But you want to show up like you are coming in person. On Zoom they have a great blurred background thing. I have on this thing a virtual background, but even if you don't have a virtual background, they have the ability just to like blur your background as well. So that way, whatever stuff you have in your background doesn't like make it weird. Get a laptop. It's really cheap to have a webcam. You can get a webcam for like 20 bucks. Most of them are like a pretty decent quality, even the $20 mark. So there's not really an excuse to have like bad cameras right now. This particular one, this camera that I'm using is actually an old iPhone that I have on a stand right now. So you have options, like you can use your phone. Most of us have phones of different formats right now of like, okay, what does this look like? I use Zoom a lot to record videos. This was being recorded on Zoom. It will be populated up to the cloud, and then I'll be able to get that recording and post it wherever I want. But you want to be thinking about first and foremost, how are you showing up from an energetic standpoint? Like, are you disengaged? Do you seem bored? Like, maybe even watch a recording of yourself or like talk to yourself of like, how am I showing up? What's my perception? If you don't know, ask. It's that idea of self-leadership is really like asking yourself that question and looking for feedback, getting feedback and implementing that feedback, not just assuming you're perfect, because none of us are. I mean, I've been working on myself for I don't know how long. I've read so many personal development books, and I don't think there's any end to it. But if you really want to excel and achieve things in your life, it's like looking at what you want to do and how can you get one step closer, and asking for feedback and actually implementing it is really key to that. At Business Tech Ninjas, we talk a lot about that like Kaizen, that 1% better. So the number one thing is, how are you showing up? What kind of energy levels? Do you seem disengaged or bored on those calls? Which is pretty much a deal breaker for us at Business Tech Ninjas, because honestly, I don't want to work with bored people. I want people that are here that want to push things forward. Second thing is just looking at like your overall, like how professional do you see? Looking at how you're dressed. I like a collared shirt in general, but something that looks professional. Hoodies, no go. Spaghetti straps, no go. But you want something like you're showing up for a job interview is really key. I am a big fan of the professional side pony, but you want to make sure that your hair is neat and tiny. If you're a man, then making sure that your beard is trimmed in some sort of way and just well kept. And for us at Business Tech Ninjas, we really look at this because it shows an attention to detail and a care. With the complicated technical systems that we work with and run, I'm looking for people that pay attention to those details. And somebody that has like this big, bushy, unkept beard, to me, probably isn't paying attention to the details. And same with like your hair of like, how are you looking at that? I love lipstick. I wear lipsticks all the time. I don't think everybody does, but it's something that I feel really strongly about. But generally what you're looking for is like a put together, I put effort. I showered to be able to be on this call today, because nobody wants to feel like, somebody's just calling it in. And so you really want to give that perception, like I'm professional, I'm showing up, I want to be here, I'm energetic, I'm asking questions is the other thing. And that really shows me that somebody's engaged. So hopefully this has been helpful to you. I think it's really fundamental and important, whether you're working for a remote company or what, but like really paying attention to how you show up, both from an energetic standpoint of like, are you bored and disengaged? And then also from just an appearance standpoint, and like what's in your background is also a really important one, because, people pay attention to that. And, if you've got a nice background, then show it off. But if not, blur it out. Nobody knows. It's all good. But I think if you keep these things in mind, then you're gonna stand out from the rest, because we do a lot of video interviews, and I'd say about most of them we would probably just say no to based on how they're showing up on that initial call, both from an energetic standpoint, from a background standpoint, and just like how much care did they take? It boggles my mind that we do video interviews and people will do them in like in what looks like a closet. And I'm like, are you in a hostage situation? Because it's like you look at their background, you're like, I don't know, like, is this person being kept against their will? Just be mindful of it. And you don't need to have the perfect background. You can blur it out. That's okay. Zoom allows you to do that, but you do need to, take the time and care to figure out how to do that. Maybe test it or something like that. So hopefully this has been helpful. Melodie Moore here from Business Tech Ninjas, and I hope you have a wonderful day.